Okie dokie. I'm trying to guess this call that you can hear. It's a frog?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so...
It's diurnal.
It sounds like I'm...
There's a little hint for you.
Okay, then. Yeah, there's not much of a hint for me. Diurnal frog that lives somewhere.
Its diet consists of flying insects. Second hint for you.
Okay. It's flying insects. So maybe it's a tree frog. Okay, I'm going to guess...
Do you want another clue before you commit to a guess?
One more clue, yeah, please.
It's a North American frog. Potentially connected to a paper we're talking about. Well, at least in locality.
Yeah, so we're traveling to Florida for this episode, so... Oh, man. Is it the... No. Where's that found? Oh, I might...
Where are you heading? Where's your mind going here?
Well, I've got a frog in mind, but I'm worried it's actually an Australian frog.
I won't judge.
I know you won't judge, but okay, let's say I can't think of any.
So much effort in.
Okay, I'm gonna show my ignorance here. I'm guessing White's tree frog.
Oh, he's checking. He's rapidly checking this.
If I think it's from Australia, it is Australian. Idiot.
Should have believed yourself.
Oh wait, hey, my second. The only other frog I could think of was the Cuban tree frog. But I mean, that's like
that.
Probably invasive to Florida, but it's not native to Florida.
Know if they are invasive to Florida or not. I'm pretty positive that they're there.
Is it just the American tree frog?
No, it's not even. It's not even a tree frog. I don't think.
Oh, okay. I feel better now.
This is Acris gryllus, the southern cricket frog.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never got that. I've never heard of it. I've heard of it, actually. I think we've talked about it before, but I can't remember anything about it.
Living on the...
It does sound a bit like
southeast of the US and all the sort of states are along that area. Yeah, lovely sort of metallic chorus there. Little guy, couple of centimeters long. Has a sort of kind of classic Rana frog look to it. Oh, it is holiday, so it's not, it's not too far from your tree frog guesses, really. Yeah. Sounds of Florida.
There we go. Anything
that's what I wanted to provide folk, and there you have it.
Right, well, still 3 each. Disgrace myself there.
I don't know why that one was so painful for you, to be honest, because they're all that bad.
I don't know. I felt a bit of deer in the headlights for that one for some reason. It's like, oh God, I'm going to have to think of a guess. Yeah, no dice. I'll just blame it on sleep deprivation.
That's what it was. And it's a diurnal frog too. I mean, that was much better with your nocturnal frogs.
Yeah, well, no, it's just like, I don't know whether most of them are or aren't.
You just know they exist.
It's just extraneous information that just sort of threw me off the scent. Anyway, there we go. There we have it. What was the scientific name of it?
Acris gryllus.
Not very nice.
It's
scientific name, that.
Not the best.
Bit guttural.
I mean, that's how I'm pronouncing it, to be fair. I'm sure there's a much nicer way of saying those words.
And what made you pick that, then? Why?
I was looking for a Florida frog.
Where is it?
A frog from Florida, because we're talking about Florida, and if we're talking about Florida, it probably means we're talking about invasive species. Yeah.
Yes. So we are talking about invasive species in Florida. We got a paper by Figueroa, Davis, Harman, Bartoszek, Easterling, Yackel, Adams, and Romagosa, 2025. published in the Journal of Zoology, and the title is Double Agents, Invasive Burmese Pythons and Argentine black and white tegus as potential seed dispersers in South Florida.
So you can picture the wonderful Florida Everglades with the sounds of southern cricket frogs in your ears now. That was the intent.
And we got to give a shout out to Addison Harman, who we know, who is one of the authors of this paper.
SIRS alumni.
Keep it real.
Exactly, yeah. Someone who was out in Thailand at the Sakura Environmental Research Station. I didn't overlap with Addison. We met at the World Congress of Herpetology, though, which was really nice. But yeah, you guys were there at the same time?
One of my times, yep.
Addison was there. Cool. So we're talking about Burmese pythons and Argentine black and white tegus, two very cool invasive species in the Everglades in Florida, USA, making a nuisance of themselves. The black and white tegus, Salvator merianae, and the Burmese python bivittatus.
I mean, this is not the first, and it almost certainly won't be the last time we talk about both of these species in this context and all of the things they get up to. I think we've talked about tegus eating crocodile/alligator eggs and nest raiding. Burmese pythons, we've talked about probably how they move at some point and interactions with other prey-related stuff, I would imagine, has come up at different points. It's not a great situation. Invasive species usually aren't brilliant, but it is a fascinating natural laboratory disaster that's well worth looking at to understand how things happen and potential sort of maybe hidden extra problems, changes, impacts that come alongside invasive species, right? Because it's not just the snakes, it's not just the tegus, all these other impacts.
Yeah, and I think we're getting into the nitty gritty in this one. This is kind of not the first impact you'd think of, like the first things you think of are like, oh, the pythons are they got to eat everything, man. Oh, man. Oh. And then with tegus, like you say, they're smashing all the eggs to bits. Like, oh, the tortoise eggs, oh, the alligator eggs, oh. But there's more to it than that. They're also, they also have the potential to be dispersing seeds. And this is like, the Everglades is a very special, dynamic wetland system. It's dynamic. It changes over time. It dries, it wets, spans lots of different sort of habitat types. You've got like marshes made of this sawgrass, mangrove forests, hardwood hammocks, piney rocklands, and tree islands, each having their own plant assemblages. So lots of very unique habitat types and structures. And it also has this subtropical warm climate and a history of disturbance by humans, which has led to the fact that 26% of resident vertebrates are now non-native.
Which is insane.
A quarter of the species.
Which is just an insane percentage. I mean, it is so frequently brought up as just such a hotbed for invasives,
Yeah. And if you're one of the people that drove past and slung your Argentine black and white tegu out of the car like a rugby ball, you're to blame.
They are quite rugby ball shaped, those tegus too. They're quite
they're blunt. Yeah, they're really cool lizards. They're big black and white lizards. They look really, they're awesome. But they are popular and inconvenient pets. So that's why they've sort of ended up here, I think. You get all these animals in a new place. It disrupts existing mutualistic relationships. So you've got situations where plants have been teaming up with animals to help them disperse their seeds for millennia. The deal generally is that the animal gets a tasty treat in exchange for pooing out the seeds somewhere new. Sometimes the seeds just kind of get caught in their fur or on their skin. But it can also be the case that an animal eats another animal which already had seeds inside it and then goes on to disperse them all as poo, which is kind of the Russian doll version of seed dispersal. Sometimes this can actually help the seeds, going through a digestive tract, sort of scratches them up a bit, thins the seed wall down for a bit of digestion, lets the sort of the embryo pop out more easily. They also come.
I think you just say allow facilitate germination or something along those lines.
No, I think they call it an embryo inside there. I think so. I think I read that in a scientific place.
Right, but was it about plants?
Yeah, pretty sure. I think they call it a seed embryo, man. I don't know for certain, but I think so. And so, yeah, this can be beneficial. Yeah, like, because, you're scratching up the seed, you're digesting it a bit, softening it, moistening it. And when it comes out, it's laid in a perfect pile
Right.
of fertilizer.
High nutrients, ready to go.
Yeah, and sometimes, if you're a snake, and there's evidence in this from rattlesnakes, they eat a rodent which is carrying a seed in its cheeky pouch. Do you know the rodents, they fill up their cheeks with seeds like that? And they run around? Well, sometimes they plan to crunch the seeds up and make them non-fertile by eating them. But if a rattlesnake catches that little mouse,
these pesky rodents,
it just says, stop right there. Those seeds will grow. And it eats the rodent, and then it poos out the seeds intact so it can interrupt the rodent chewing them up, which is a win for the seeds. In the Everglades, there are lots of plants that have fleshy fruits, which rely on animals to eat them and disperse the seeds. Burmese pythons are eating a lot of the birds and mammals which kind of perform these functions, as you said at the start. So pythons are implicated in declines of like up to 100%, between 85 and 100%. Those serious declines of raccoons, opossums, and rabbits, and white-tailed deer. So these are all animals which contribute to seed dispersal. Similar declines in bobcats and grey foxes have kind of potentially led to these like slightly more rodent-dominated communities. That said, pythons have also been implicated in the population declines of some rodents, like the Key Largo wood rat, the cottonmouse, both of which could contribute well to seed dispersal through their techniques, their behaviours. So they both do scatter hoarding.
So you've got
and
this balance, right? You've got these two outcomes. Your invasive species going to enhance seed dispersal, or are they going to suppress seed dispersal? And naturally, that might be different on a species by species basis when it comes to which prey that they're taking.
Yeah, there was a new word in this paper.
Oh, I missed
Did you see
this.
it?
No, I've missed an opportunity to learn a new word.
So
Plant
the word
embryo.
is no, plant embryo. Diploendozookery. Diploendozookery.
Which means
which means it means that they ate a thing which already had a thing inside it, and then became the thing that it was inside, and then pooed it out, and it did grow.
that was. I'm at a loss. I'm more confused. Do you mean is this the case of tegu or Burmese python eating rodent that has seed already inside them, and that passing through as a sort of matryoshka or Russian doll-like situation that you described before? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what diploendozookery means. Yeah.
That's a mouthful of a word. Fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Do you think anyone's ever said it with a straight face in real life? Like if you bumped into another sort of seed expert
definitely. 100%. 100%.
And they'd be like, I mean, that is just textbook diploendozookery.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. When you get into any of these scientific niches, the jargon just goes through the roof, and you use it so much that you just become dead to it.
I don't know. That was really crazy. Maybe.
It is a lot of syllables.
But just to touch on tegus, it's a lot of syllables, yeah. Tegus, they're different to Burmese pythons. Burmese pythons are strictly predatory, so they're mostly doing that.
There is
eating of things which already have seeds.
Separate study that was looking at the tegu stuff specifically, so I have some percentages for you if you want. Yeah.
For their diet.
So
well, how about this? I'll shout something at you that they might eat, and you tell me the percentage.
All right, but I've only snails. 60% snails. Well, it appears in 60% of the diets. Not one tegu is eating mostly snails.
Okay, I got you. Okay, what about bugs?
97.
Arthropods? Wow, okay. This is fun.
77%.
Small vertebrates.
I don't have small vertebrates as a
mice.
I've got mammals.
Mouse.
81% mammals.
Mammals.
So I think what's indicating these are quite a lot of high percentages, and that kind of suggests this lots of tegus eating lots of different things. But an individual will eat a lot of different things, not like tegus eat a lot of different things, but individuals have a very strong preference for one type of thing. Does that make sense? Right? Like, because that's percentages of diets, of individuals' diets, as opposed to of a single diet.
That's cool. So they're quite individual in what they do.
No, the opposite.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they're not very individual. They're very generalist.
They're all generalist if the percentages are high, right?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. So it's not like, so it's not like one tegu suddenly develops a little penchant for the old
Yeah.
escargot.
I mean, maybe there is an individual that's eating 60% snails, maybe. The point being, generalist, eating a lot of different things. So tegus, separate from Burmese pythons, have that like direct mechanism because they are eating fruit, as in direct mechanism for seeds dispersal.
Right on. And so they wanted to kind of clarify here, this paper you can kind of think of as like a first pass. Like, what are the seeds that are ending up in the guts of these two invasive species? And what might be the significance of those seeds being in those species? And they sifted through the guts of tegus and pythons. I think there are kind of control efforts on both these species. So you have a ready to go kind of stock, if you like, of animals whose guts contents you can analyze. And sifting through the guts of tegus and pythons, they found 25 different species of seed in python diets and 73 in tegu diets, with 9 of them overlapping between the two species. And they thought 9 was quite a high number for them to have overlapping between them, like more than you'd sort of necessarily expect.
Yes, it's more than their estimated null model. Not by a huge amount, but enough to be like, hey, there's some interesting overlap going on here. Which and what could be leading to that? Yeah, so I think the key thing that they sort of seem to take away is that the seeds they were dispersing were quite general, a bit of a mix of everything. Really, there was like a strong sort of a variety, but not any particularly like specialized or unique plant species. They sort of more tended towards the kind of general sort of end of the plant spectrum. There were some rarer species, weren't there? Yeah, you had some, but I don't. Well, you had some sort of native and state-threatened endangered species mixed in there. Also had some entirely non-native species, which is a whole nother like intriguing question. Because I mean, non-native, I suppose it could be cultivated plants that would be quite likely in somewhere like Florida, or it could be, you know, a way of getting early indications that there might be species, non-native species of plant there that you're not aware of yet. So I'm sort of expecting them to, you know, be ones that people are well aware are there already, along with the, 27% general invasive species situation as well. I think the fact that they're transporting around a relatively high proportion of invasive plants, there's this kind of theory, or is it hypothesis? The invasional meltdown hypothesis, which is this idea that like once you have a certain amount of invasive species, they kind of in some way assist other invasive species to like further break down the native flora and fauna of an environment. And I guess that this could kind of be considered evidence of that. Like these snakes are kind of transporting around more invasive species seeds, and they don't make a big point necessarily of that being a big issue here. They kind of focus more on the sort of more homogenization, just like loads of general seeds, and they're kind of spreading around these like mostly quite common things, which is going to kind of just melt down, make everything kind of broadly similar. That seems to be the main concern, is that these animals, these two species, the tegus and the pythons, having relatively similar seeds in their guts with 9 overlapping, and also the seeds that they do have a kind of a broad spectrum of different things. They're transporting those seeds around. They're like missing out on specialized things, which maybe would have been performed by the animals that they've, you know, knocked the populations of. So you could end up with plant communities becoming more similar in these like specialized little regions that they have in the Everglades. I think that's the main concern. It could be that they're contributing to altering plant community. Yeah, and it matches up with what you're sort of saying with the invasive species idea, because you do have a tendency for, you know, flexible, more generalist species to be better invaders because of that sort of generalizability of their skill set, I suppose. So it would make sense that then that tallies up with taking advantage of sort of other generalists in a kind of way. I mean, it might, you know, you mentioned a couple of rodent species that were having a tough time because of this. I don't know much about their ecology, but if they're specific to the area, they probably have specific relationships with, you know, your rarer, less generalist plant species. Yeah. So yeah, it's something else which people who are managing the Everglades need to start thinking about. It's inevitable that the fact that there are these massive invasive species there, it's going to reshape the relationships that plants and animals have, and it's going to have effects on community structure. Obviously, trees and things like that
much slower to grow. And so, we might still not really be seeing the kind of impacts of this. Things might just be getting more similar.
Yeah, you do have sort of questions over, whether some of these seeds are just naturally more apparent in the prey species of these groups. Anyway, there isn't a sort of availability question here as well of more generalist plant species in areas that these invasive species are making better use of because of environmental degradation or something along those lines. And there's a spatial co-correlation between generalists and, as in generalist plants, and presumed to be generalist or very much generalist invasive species too. So there's a little bit more to unpick, but that's kind of what makes this so fascinating. The whole Florida situation so fascinating is that it's there to be unpicked because it's a lot of this damage can't reasonably be undone, but in the meantime we can at least learn from it, which is a bit of a bittersweet. But it is really intriguing because this is also adding to the movement of parasites. I think we covered a parasite paper recently, did we not, in snake parasites across Florida, where there was suggestion that the expansion of range of invasive pythons could be moving certain non-native parasites further north into native snake populations as well. So you don't just get an invasive animal, you get an invasive animal and all the hangers-on and ecological sort of connections that come with them potentially as well.
Yeah, for sure. So there we go. The pythons and the tegus are eating seeds and dispersing them, and it could have some impacts on homogenizing the environment, which is not ideal. Have you got any other business this week, Ben?
I do not for this week. No, nothing this time.
Right. I have one small thing, which was a cool paper that popped up, which I saw a note from a snake in Nepal, the common wolf snake, Lycodon aulicus. Cool snake, despite the name. They're common, but they're still cool. And essentially this snake was, I assume it was being sort of slightly bothered, but it did the whole death feigning thing, where the snake pretends to be dead as a defense mechanism, which isn't really something that's typically known from wolf snakes. Yeah, and actually, they were rescuing it. So it was, I presume, in someone's house, and they got a call to go and move it out. And it sort of flipped over onto its back, stayed still, and pretended to be dead, which is something which I don't think people knew they did. And so this is a nice recorded new behavior from Lycodon aulicus, the common wolf snake, in Pokhara in India. Pokhara, I've been to Pokhara.
Did you see a Lycodon?
It's where... No, I didn't see any snakes. I saw the inside of a hotel room a lot because I was very ill, and then subsequently the inside of a hospital because I tried to poo myself to death unsuccessfully. Good, thankfully.
But no Lycodon, which
is terrible.
That's...
No, had plans to go out into the mountains and all sorts, and it all just got completely cancelled. I was there for a week, and I was just dying. Mine was just bringing me a succession of different drinks to see what I could stomach. I just sip them and turn them down. But yeah, really beautiful place. I would have wished I'd known there was.
Well, maybe it was better you didn't have, and it's just an excuse to go back and to actually get to the mountains.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have to go back. Cool. All right. Well, I think that just about does it for this episode.
243.
If you want to get in touch with us, you can. 230.
43.
3 or 4? 243. Cool. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can. herphighlights@gmail.com is the email address. And if you want to support the podcast, thank you very much to our patrons, as always. Patreon.com/herphighlights. Yeah, legends. All that remains to be said is thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.